A blessed evening to our guests, faculty members, and our attendees. I'm Gloria M. Capanang of the Institute of Pangasinan State University, Bayambang campus as your moderator for this webinar. For this evening, we have a list of reputable guests who will discuss to us the thesis of quantitative research in different fields, including especially important in the field of education, its importance in policy making. Before we begin the lecture, let us first keep ourselves in solemnity as we sing the national anthem. Please remain solemn as we hold our hands in a prayer through an audiovisual presentation.
Mga kababayan, ang pamba.
Within your mind, when the oceans rise and fun is more, I will soar with I'm resting my soul in Christ alone. Know His in quietness and trust. When the oceans rise and thunders roar, I will soar with you above the storm. Father, you are King over the earth. I will be still, know you are God. When the oceans rise and thunders roar, I will soar with you above the storm. Will you are King over the earth. I will be still, know you are God. Find rest in my soul in Christ alone. Know His power in quietness and trust. When the oceans rise and fall, this road I will soar with you above the storm. Yes, I will. Father, you are King over the flood. I will be still, know you, the God. When the oceans rise and thunders roar, I will soar with you above the storm. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. You are King over the flood. I will be still, know you, my God. Ocean I will soar with you above the storm. Father, you are King. Let me sing. I will be still, know you are God. Oh, yes, you are. Oh, yes, you are. I will be still.
Okay. Once again, a blessed evening to our guests and audience. I hope we aren't feeling dozy at this time of the day, for we have a very exciting and important topic to learn from. Let me hold your ears hostage for a while and thank the ETCOR Educational Research Centers for this initiative. They were the ones who planned, organized, and realized this event. Their goal is to equip the research consultants with the necessary knowledge and skills in the conduct of research, as well as to enable them to become better research consultants. Though it may seem exclusive for the ETCOR, this program is open to the public and those who wish to improve their skills and prove themselves in the field of research writing. Let us welcome the ETCOR's research consultants who are present in this event. I would like to recognize these persons: Dr. Richard D. Sanchez, the head of research consultants, Dr. Ace C. Lagman, and Dr. Ian I. Laneras, National Consultant and National Deputy Consultant for Research Publications and Trainings, respectively. And I also want to recognize the ETCOR's national consultants, regional coordinators, provincial, division, and city coordinators, and all ETCOR research consultants who are present in this event. Okay, so let us welcome the ETCOR's research consultants. Thank you, ma'am and sir. And now, let us welcome our very own, very diligent Dr. Francis A. Gumawa. And so Dr. Francis A. Gumawa is graduated of Doctor of Education, major in Educational Management from the University of Rizal System. He is currently employed as Teacher 3 and Research Coordinator from the Knights of Columbus Elementary School from the City Schools Division of Antipolo. He presented his research in various organizations, local and regional, and then international, like Center of Professional Advancement and Continuing Education. He's also an active member of the following research organization: the ETCOR, IREAD, International Association of Research, and the Research Ethics Across Disciplines, Southeast Asian Academic Research Collaborators, Hub and Home Economics, and Technology Teachers, and Researchers Association of the Philippines. He publishes research in the International Research Journal Book of Abstract, in Asian Society of Teachers for Research, and Book of Abstract in Regional Level Conference of Basic Education Research in 2019. So Dr. Francis A. Gumawa to deliver his opening remarks. Sir, you may now take the virtual floor.
Hello po, good evening to all. Naririnig na po ako, Ma'am Gloria.
Apo, sir.
Okay po. So, good evening everyone. Tonight, we will continue the ETCOR series of National Capacity Building seminars on research writing for research consultants with the topic, the importance of quantitative research in policy making. Before our resource speaker deliver his message or his talk for tonight, and on behalf of the head of the ETCOR, I am delighted to say welcome to all research consultants, members of tonight's activity, and participants. Let us embrace the culture of research and ponder the importance and application of research in our school or organization. I believe that through research, it can develop our critical thinking skills, gives us knowledge and learnings, and also provide us information that we can apply or use in our daily life. Research is a search for facts and knowledge. Research is really important because it reveals reality and unreality. Let us inspire and learn many things with this kind of activity. Thank you, and again, good evening to all.
Thank you for your kind and empowering words, sir. Okay, so before the discussion or the webinar proper, okay, so we have here the following discussion of rules and regulations. So any organization, relationship rather, event thrives on order. And that being that said, let me introduce to you some of the rules, regulations we have the following in this webinar. Please turn off your microphones until authorized to do so. You may keep your camera off, but if you can, please keep them open. Please use your complete name as your username. And please type your question in the chat box. As you think of them, they will be entertained after the talk. Okay, so these are the following house rules in today's webinar. Okay, so with those being said, and without further ado, let us now welcome our reputable guest speaker for this evening. Our speaker is finished his bachelor's degree in English from Bulacan State University in 2009, and his master's degree and doctorate degree in educational management from Technological University of the Philippines, Manila, in 2013 and 2019 respectively. In the Department of Education, he served in various capacities such as demonstration teacher, module evaluator and writer, focal person for school-based management, research, special interest programs, and BIDS award committee. At present, he serves as a senior education program specialist for planning and research in the Schools Division Office of the City of San Jose del Monte, Bulacan. So let us welcome our guest speaker for this evening, Dr. Donn Uriel B. Buenaventura. Sir, I cede the virtual floor to you.
Good evening to everyone. Thank you very much, Ma'am Gloria Capanang. And good evening to our head of the research consultant of ETCOR, Dr. Sanchez, and to Dr. Francis Gumawa, who welcomed us a while ago. And I'm very fortunate and privileged to have this second time around to talk or share my experiences, significant learnings for the benefit of everyone. And also I will learn from you also with your sharings. And this time, and I'm very happy, it's because even if we are bombarded with different challenges in the field, still we continue to have time for professional growth activity, even if it's in this evening. So good evening, and let's enjoy my sharing. Then later on you will enjoy, I hope that you will enjoy and learn from me too. So let me share to you my presentation. So this evening we'll be exploring the importance of quantitative research in policy making. Primarily, this evening we will realize how important research really plays in our daily activities. As Dr. Gumawa mentioned a while ago, it will realize how practical research is, how it helps us in our daily activities, and how it will improve the quality of life we have. Even if it is qualitative, quantitative, definitely it will create a great impact not only to educators but also to our clientele, which are the learners and other community stakeholders. So let's start with this simple activity. We'll have the read, pause, reflect activity. I'll be showing you some abstract. I would like to thank a friend of ours, Dr. Ansho of PNU, for granting us to use some of his studies. And let's read some of these abstracts and then pause for a while and then reflect how it will create an impact or how it will affect us. So let's start with this one. So these are journal articles, and then the title is A Proposed Action Plan for the Improvement of Students' Engagement. So I'll give you a couple of 2 minutes to read the abstract silently and then share his or her insights about that abstract, how it relates to us, how it will affect us, or does it create an impact in our workplace, or how it will affect us in simple ways, okay? So a proposed action plan for the improvement of student engagement. And then the premise is student engagement to school is vital in improving the country's quality of education. So that's macro level. The concern of revitalizing the engagement strategies was aimed to address by forwarding an action plan. Some points, let me skip. Some points had to be addressed, such as the imbalance between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Regarding reading, extracurricular, and reinforcing the student-family community collaboration were among the top teacher strategies. With the motivation of providing holistic engagement, the action plan was created to concentrate on 3 focus areas. It was intended to address inclusivity, to stimulate autonomous learning abilities, and intensify involvement to school. So based on this abstract, can someone share his or her insight, how it's important or related to us based on the findings? Anyone po? So let's uplift the spirit of volunteerism for this evening. Anyone who wants to react, give his or her reaction, how the findings of this study will affect us or create an impact in our work or in performing our job. Anyone? Anyone who wants to share his or her idea?
Sir,
From what? Go ahead po, sir. Sorry, I was not able to see your name. But go ahead po, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Sir Reggie Fabro, go ahead po.
yes, sir. My understanding on this proposed action plan, sir, is that this is an intervention on how to boost the students' engagement for improving the quality of education, improving the students' engagement, or boosting the students' engagement.
Okay. That's it. Thank you very much, Sir Reggie Fabro. So based on the gathered data, you're correct, sir. They need to improve the quality of service delivery and through an action plan. So thank you very much, sir. Why? Because they found out that through collaboration, the delivery will be better, especially in this distance learning modality. We need to help. We need the help of the community, or collaboration is the key. Thank you very much, Sir Reggie. Let's have the next one. Those who are administrators here can relate. Title will be Principals, Bureaucratic Management Practices, and Teachers' Job Satisfaction in a City Division. Okay, so let's read silently. The aim of the study is to describe the bureaucratic management practices and teachers' job satisfaction, and the results reveal that among 6 principles introduced by Weber, so this is an applied research because there's an existing theory, were both, sorry, there's a chat, let me read first. So I hope I could learn how to make action plan. So maybe Sir Franz, on the later or different activities of ETCOR, we can accommodate that. But through this webinar, I must say that it will give you a glimpse of how research plays an important role in creating plans. That's why in-depth ed, policy, planning, and research is in one division or in one unit. So going back, results study showed that, the respondents strongly agreed that the division of labor was one of the bureaucratic management practices that was evident and highly manifested in their school, while formal rules and regulations was given the least emphasis as far as management practices is concerned. The data also revealed that motivation of hygiene factors contributed to job satisfaction. Study revealed that in a bureaucracy or within bureaucratic type of management, teachers are very satisfied in their job. If you are reading this, how would you interpret this or react on it? Another hand, let's have another one. Yes, ma'am, go ahead. Ma'am Mary Jane Castillo. Go ahead po, ma'am. Good evening.
Right. So, good evening po. So, as for me, as I have read the content of the abstract, it is very essential to have leadership empowerment. Why? Because when we have leadership empowerment in a bureaucratic management practices in the school, the more we can have fulfillment among our teachers. So, ibig kong sabihin, kapag mataas yung level ng motivation and encouragement, higit na nararanasan po ng ating mga guro ang satisfaction sa kanilang trabaho. Why? Because the focus is not on the formal rules and regulations, but rather on how the leaders stand as model in empowering and encouraging their subordinates. Yun po yun. So nakita ko po dito napakaganda ng kanyang research paper dahil ipinakikita nito the actual in the real world system inside a school or in an organization. So malaking tulong po iyon para sa bawat isa that through this research study, our minds and our eyes are opened up to what we need to prioritize in the school improvement plan. So thank you so much po, sir, and God bless you po.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Mary Jane. What an inspiring reflection it is. Salamat po. Yes, any rejoinders, Sir Reggie? Go ahead po.
Sir, I think it looks into the practices of principals, like for example, under management roles into directing, controlling, planning, etc., and how these activities or management practices affect the teacher's satisfaction into the CTO division.
Thank you very much. Okay, so the influence of the management practices in relation to job satisfaction. And last, let's have Ma'am Michelle. Go ahead, Ma'am Michelle. Good evening.
Good evening. Hello from Ifugao State University. Okay, so based from what I've read from the abstract itself, though the paper is very good, okay, so me as a reader would have a little bit questioning on although the researchers were able to explain the result of the study, but they were not able to explain what do they mean by strongly agreed. Okay, so if you try to look into, though they explained the 6 principles introduced by Weber, from my point of view, they should have explained further the meaning or the qualitative interpretation of strongly agreed and then the very satisfied in their job. though the paper is very good, it has a lot of definitions, it explained well, but yun lang po yung sa akin. Me as a reader, reading that paper, I'm a little bit conscious. I'm a little bit wondering what does they mean by very strongly agreed and then very satisfied. So especially in the social sciences or in the qualitative interpretation, of course, we really have to define or describe the qualitative or give our qualitative description. Yun po yung pagkaintindi ko. Salamat po.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So as you can see, on the first example, there's an action plan to enhance something. The second example explores practices that is related to job satisfaction for better performance. Yet, still you find something that is somewhat missing, or there's a certain glitch or a gray area that need to be cleared out. And that's the beauty of research. It's a cyclical process in which you can explore more on that gray area that you find out or gaps in RRL. Thank you very much, ma'am. So let's have the third one. I'm sorry if it's not yet. Title will be officially leaving before officially leaving the organization, retirement planning and preparation. So all of us will retire in service. So let's try to react on this abstract. So identifies the retirement readiness of teachers, taking into consideration aspects like financial, health, social relationship. The participants formed a structure of ideas in managing their available resources in preparation for their retirement. The teachers may be challenged financially for retirement, but with proper education about financial planning and utilization of available retirement benefits, teacher can cope up with financial stability in retirement. Now, let's reflect on this question. In your respective organization, do you have a specific or contextualized, which is unique only in your organization, retirement plans, aside from GSIS or those mandated by the government? Do you have a retirement plan for your organization? I believe those who came from state universities and other private higher education institutions have it. But in depth ed, localized, maybe other divisions or regions, I must say. But retirement policy, do you have retirement policy in your respective organization? That's my question. Anyone? Other participants, please. May I ask, Ma'am Gloria, I heard you came from Pangasinan State University. What's life, for example, you'll be retiring, what's life after retirement? Is there a retirement program in your PSU is level 4 university? SUC 4 yan eh.
Yes, sir. At the age of 60, sir, we can retire already.
Apo,
So,
yung retirement benefit nyo, ma'am, which is
yes, sir.
you consider unique po.
Meron po kami mga retirement benefit din na nakukuha sa university po namin.
Depende sa contribution and length of service na, ma'am.
Length of service po, sir. Yes, sir.
So, yun. So, thank you, Ma'am Gloria. There's a chat. Ayusin mo sagot mo, Doc. Andyan, boss mo. Ayun po. Okay. So good. There are different benefits, okay, retirement benefits, because this research will lead to a program or a policy about retirement, okay? And this will be a basis for that retirement. Another school leadership experience in Doha, Qatar, okay? Let's have the findings. This is qualitative, sorry, but my focus is quantitative. But a while ago from the professor from ISU, because maybe she's aligned with qualitative research, that's why she identified there is a certain gray area for that particular qualitative study. Okay, the 3 themes defines Filipino school leaders conforming with programs. Theme 4 depicts the Filipino school leaders in confronting with resources. Okay, studies beneficial to the aspiring and current school leaders, not only the Filipinos, but also to the nationalities interested in or presently managing international schools in Doha. There's a chat. Yes, sorry. Ifugao State University. Sorry, ma'am. Isabela Iswe. No? Okay? So, Ma'am Michelle, noted po. Okay. Anyone who wants to act on this? Planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. The classic management function. Okay? Anyone po? So theme 3, there are how many? There are 3 themes identified. Emerge from the study with sub-themes depicted experience and challenges of Filipino school leaders. So maybe there will be a policy that can create, based on this study, we can create a policy about adjustments or addressing the different needs of those school leaders outside. Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Filipino schools, even if they are in Doha, Qatar, set or their school are there, they are using the curriculum we have or the K-12 curriculum we use in the Philippines. Also books in the Philippines, they also use it. Because I have former co-teachers in the private schools who came there in Doha and they taught there for a couple of years. And they said that, that's it. The materials came, they adopt the Philippine curriculum. So that's research talks about that. This is different. This is a COVID-19 graph. Actual prediction. So until the 0 or the flattening of the curve. Why do we do this? Why do we explore numbers? Why do we interpret quantitative data? Because it will lead to decision making. And these numbers will help us to decide and to formulate policies, guidelines that will help not only the organization, not only our stakeholders, but also our clients in our respective schools and organization. So let's proceed now. What's the premise of quantitative research? Organizations apply quantitative methods confidently because math is an exact science. But you know, though I'm a language teacher, I used to create research quantitatively because that's the training in the schools where I studied. And reliably to operate effectively in contemporary business organization or not, educational organization also, whether private or commercial corporation or government agency, a state industry, or anything else. Accountants make judgments. Kaya nga yung mga nag-BSBA, I don't know, there's a BSBA, there's a certain subject that they compute data for prediction so that they can identify the market trends. Because through that, they can predict their sales, their income, etc. Economists make decisions based on knowledge about the economic development, especially in NEDA. NEDA is the planning agency of the whole government. So that's why in every organization, there is a planning unit. And that planning unit is the number one duty of that particular planning unit is to generate quantitative data that will be basis for the plans, and that plans will be the basis for decisions, policies, and issuances of any organization or unit. Okay? Customers' reaction to the products and designs are used by marketing personnel to make decisions. So, going to a restaurant, the waiter or service crew will ask, "Ma'am, sir, pwede po bang magpa-survey?" And then you will check, is that is quantitative research? They will count your customer satisfaction rate based on your responses. Personnel managers make choices based on facts, such as the organization's employee numbers and so on. That's why we have 2015 in the HR. That's why part of it will be our rating, LET, or our TOR, because those numbers, even though those figures will help the HR personnel to classify your status. If you will be hired, or if you will be recommended for promotion, or if you will be referred to another agency. Our performance rating is also based on numbers, and it helps us to our promotion also. And that is quantitative data that is relevant in policy making also. Quantitative research generates numeric data. Definitely, it's quanti. The other series will have qualitative. Okay? Research quantifies attitudes, opinions, and behaviors. And other defined variables also generalize results from a larger sample population. That's the unique feature of quanti. Number one, defined variables. Kasi nga, kaya nga sa statement of the problem, lagi may 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 2.1, 2.2. It's already defined. But in qualitative, it's exploratory in nature. It's in-depth. That's why some of the variables will be defined specifically based on the respondents' responses. Okay? Generalization. That's the key term for quantitative. It's meant to generalize based on larger sample population. Sa quali, iba naman, have an in-depth analysis and interpretation of a certain phenomena that you are observing or exploring, but with a smaller sample population because there is a different sampling design on that particular methodology of research. Measurable data given in quantitative research are used to formulate facts. Kaya nga, sa research method, pag quantitative, meron tayong iba't ibang types of variables. Merong interval data, merong nominal data. I believe I shared that in our previous session. Merong rank data or ordinal data. So that's in quantitative. In this research, compared to qualitative research, is more structured. Kaya yung sanay sa qualitative research, ayaw niya quantitative kasi masyadong, kumbaga sabi na, nakakahon. Ito yung SOP, ito yung lalagay sa instrument, ito yung i-measure, ito yung i-conclude, ito yung i-recommend. Unlike in qualitative research, it's process-oriented because it's exploratory in nature. There will be incidental findings depending upon the themes you will identify. So, yun naman yung the beauty of qualitative research. Quantitative research methods include surveys, face-to-face interviews. If you will generate quantitative data, so ilan ang anak mo? So, census, for example, that is face-to-face interview. Telephone interviews, generating quantitative data also. Longitudinal studies, for example, those who are master teachers, principals na na-assign sa matagal ng eskwelahan. Naglo-longitudinal studies yan. What's the growth of the enrollment for the past 7 years? Or kung member ka ng division office, you will trace down teachers na ang tagal na sa serbisyo, 20 years na, teacher 1 pa rin. So longitudinal studies. Ano nangyari dun sa 20-year studies na yun? Okay? Website interceptors, online polls, yan. Kahit sa GC, pwede ka mag-online poll, yes or no. So, systematic observations. These research asks close-ended questions that give quantifiable answers. Kasi yung systematic observation, pwede yan sa quali. The difference is, kapag na-generate mo ay quantitative data, di quantitative, you are on the quantitative research. Now, how do quantitative research, or what's the role of quantitative models? According to my professor, 5 lang yan. So, pride. When we do quantitative research, keep in mind pride. And it will develop, and this is the ultimate goal or aim of quantitative research. Number 1, P stands for predict or forecast. When you browse dissertations mostly, they use regression analysis. Nakalagay doon, beta value. Beta value indicates the significant increase or decrease per standard deviation unit. So yun yung prediction study. And how it helps policymakers sa IATF. Paano sila nagde-decide na next week ang quarantine level natin bababa? It's because of prediction. The numbers reveal that in this certain period of time, katulad ng graph natin, bababa na yung trend noong COVID-19 cases natin. Kaya, they will tell them, next week, we can slow down or we can level down the restrictions or quarantine classification of this particular area. Next, relate. Kaya ang classic sa thesis ay, is there a significant relationship between this variable and to this variable? And then you will use commonly the Pearson product moment correlation for interval data. Some uses chi-square for nominal data. So, relate. Tulad dun sa previous study, it's found out that if the management practices is good, also the job satisfaction among teachers is good or high. So that's relationship. Okay? For example, if you found out in your respective school na yung mga pala-attend ng LAC session or learning action cell or yung mga teacher na laging umattend sa mga webinars, seminars, tumataas yung performance level na or their content and pedagogy skills increases also. That's a relationship. Kaya nga, one type of quantitative study is correlational research. So relate. Now, those studies who take time, impact, at least 3 years. So halimbawa, dati gusto mag-impact ng mother tongue, pwede na yan. So ilang taon na kasi na-implement yung mother tongue. So kaya nga gumagamit tayo dito ng t-test. What's the significant difference between this time and then at this present time? So impact, kaya may t-test. Kung maraming grupo naman, we can use analysis of variance. Ano naman tutulong nun sa policy? Pag nakita natin na effective, definitely we will sustain. Tama? Or sometimes, if the policy is no longer effective, yung nag-prediction kayo, pababa na yung trend, nag-correlation kayo, inverse, pag mataas yung mataas itong policy na to, mababa na yung performance. So, inverse siya. Yung impact, wala na, mababa na sa grades ng estudyante. What do you need to do? Next is the quantitative model is to develop a new or innovative model. Dito, pwede naman tayong gumamit ng, for example, our baseline data natin ay yung mga mean scores. Alam ba kasi, nakita mo yung score ng bata mo, modular, ang baba. Kasi halimbawa sa DepEd, I believe, those who belong to DepEd, Ma'am Mary Jane is wearing uniform also of DepEd. I believe some teachers in DepEd carries a load of both modular classes and online class. And then they will compare, naku, iwan na iwan yung modular ko. Ito ang score nila, dun sa online kasi natuturuan ko kahit papano. Matataas or nakaka-cope up yung modular ko, pasang-awa o yung iba maraming bagsak. What do you need to do? Based on that baseline data, you compute their mean, you generate a graph, a descriptive graph, frequency table, igrupo mo yung mataas, igrupo mo yung mababa, igrupo mo yung nasa gitna, and then from that data, you decide, you develop a certain intervention or innovation that will help those students who are in need. And then, if there is also an existing program, you can evaluate it because evaluation leads to your decision, either to reject, accept, sustain, or revise these things. These 5 or the PRIDE model will help you quantitatively in your policy making or decision making. Why? Because when you make policies, you look to forecast or projections about the future evolution of the contagion and subsequent fatalities to guide their policy choices. Because your prediction can lead to up or down of your organization. These can be best guesses or warnings about how bad things could become. These considerations factor into their decision-making in at least informal ways, according to Hansen. Meaning to say, this quantitative data or quantitative research will help you to decide scientifically, based on numbers, how your organization will be in the future, since you are forecasting or projecting you are guessing that if you will do this at present, based on your present data, you will create an impact or effective performance in the future. Kaya nga, dun sa mga administrators dito, meron tayong SIP, School Improvement Plan. You are projecting there 3 years. What will happen on your 3 years based on your administration? If in your administration, rather, what will be the direction of it based on the existing quantitative data? Halimbawa, for the past 3 years, pataas ang inyong enrollment. Anong gagawin mo? Definitely, you will prepare or you will request additional teachers, additional classrooms, and that is part of policy making. Why? Alam niyo naman sa gobyerno, hindi instant. Unlike sa private school, mas madaling mag-request ng resources, basta may pondo. But in government, policy will also go to a certain process. And that process is another type of research, another type of procedure. So that's important, how research plays a vital role in policy making. Now, let me share to you a snapshot of a simplified scheme of the policy cycle. So you can start everywhere. For example, you will design a policy. Sir, how are you going to design a certain policy? Definitely, hindi naman hula yan eh. Definitely, you need to have a baseline data. Meron ka rin tatawag na existing data na itong gagamitin mo so that you will create an ex-ante assessment or assessment. Ano, yan nga, meron ka ng enrollment, meron ka ng number of teachers, meron ka ng number of classrooms. Eh, ano ngayon? Definitely, you will interpret that. Kasi, ang dami mong ang teacher, ang dami mong ang classroom, wala ka namang estudyante. So, anong gagawin mo? You need to increase the population or enrollment of your school, or else yung mga teacher na nandun sa school mo, ililipat yan. Kasi sa DO or sa division office, meron rin kaming policy making. Makikita namin, enrollment ito, mababa. Ang teacher nila ang dami. So, kailangan ng teacher doon sa ibang school na mataas ang enrollment. So, we will get those teachers and then distribute it to those particular schools who are in need. So, that's part of policy, because the next is implementation. Based on existing data and your initial assessment, you will implement that particular policy or rules or guidelines so that it will be having evaluation. Kaya nga meron tayong itatawag na planning adjustment. Okay? Salamat po, sir. Okay? So, it will go back again to policy design. Bakit? Ex-post evaluation, nakita nyo, ay, nag-implement na, halimbawa, itong distance learning modality, ongoing ang evaluation. Kasi nga, we cannot cope up immediately. So, ngayong second year, ngayon pa lang talaga yung padating ng iba't ibang materials, iba't ibang support paraphernalias, so that it will again support the policy that we had. Also, we have already have continuity planning. So perfect ba yung continuity plan natin? No. That's why we need to gather data in the middle so that it will help us to adjust. Kasi pag di tayo nag-adjust, definitely our stakeholders aaray yan. Kaya yung mga teachers, yung iba, nagre-reklamong pagod because the adjustment takes time. So what's the key there? Hold on to our data. Interpret it wisely, and then create a policy or decision. Salamat po. Now, according to BOA, when we use research in policy-making process, 4 lang yan. And a short glimpse was introduced in the concept of pride. It's related. Number 1 is strategy. Okay? Forgive us if in the management level that there are problems that were not being addressed immediately. Okay? Why? Because understanding the problem is also a big step. Okay? And the potential policy solution. So we need to gather data. hindi ko alam kung may mga principal dito, but part of the course in NEAP is the decision tree. Ang galing nun. Ine-enter lang nung principal or yung participant yung number of students ng ganito, ma-identify niya sa dulo kung ano yung preferred modality na dapat i-offer sa school. Strategy. And strategy differs from where we belong or where we are working. Kaya nga sa DepEd, napakahirap mag-research sa DepEd. Why? Because the context of San Jose del Monte, even if we belong in Region 3, no? Pag nagpunta ako kay Dr. Sanchez na taga Pampanga, iba rin yung practices nila. Kaya nga kadalasan, yung kakulangan, it can be addressed to another research design na mixed method or qualitative. But if we will stick to quantitative, there will be different responses from those in San Jose del Monte, Bulacan, and those who are in Pampanga. Why? Because culture and different policies and background. Example, sa ibang division, pwedeng yung teacher 1 magiging master teacher. Yung mga taga-DepEd dito, sa ibang division pwede yon. But in our case, no, you should be teacher 3 for, I forgot the years, but you need to be teacher 3 for 3 years and then demonstration teaching, then you can apply for master teacher. So that's it. So different context, different rules. Why? Because we have different set of data. Kasi pag tiningnan nyo dito sa San Jose del Monte, ang dami ng master teacher na hindi pa nag-retire. So we cannot accommodate promotion or get master teachers as many as we can. Nakuha na namin yung saturation level or number of master teachers. Okay? And then evaluation. If the existing policy is applicable or not, because that's will help us to proceed or to stop. Halimbawa, yung K-12, ang dami yan. Ang dami talaga. We are bombarded with different clamors about K-12. But you see, ewan ko bias ako siguro, but K-12 has beauty in it. It's just we need to fine-tune or we need to evaluate what particular part of that K-12 curriculum needs fine-tuning. So you can conduct research about it and then recommend for policy formulation. Because the next is operational. Finding out the most effective way to deliver a particular policy. Halimbawa, yung RPMS PPST, talaga namang ang kakapal ng portfolio niyan kasi it's similar to those who are in the state universities asking for, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, those who came from the university, they write their portfolio, they prepare their portfolios based on NBC to become full-fledged professor. Ang kakapal din ng portfolio niyan. So similar to the performance scheme of DepEd. So finding out the most effective way to deliver a particular policy, nung 12 objectives pa lang yung piniprepare ng DepEd, ng teacher, sorry, ang kapal. Ang kapal ng portfolio. Naging teacher din ako, nabutan ko yan. So ang kapal. Nagpandemya. Ganun pa rin, ang dami. So they adjusted the policy. They opted to have screenshots or soft copies and then it will be saved into the drive. So yun, there are adjustments. Part of the policy so that the operations can be adjusted. Ngayon, may paparating na naman na mayroon pang remaining na 19 objectives if I'm not mistaken. And according to our info, hindi mo na ibibigay yung 19 na karagdagan, 10 muna uli. So part of operational adjustment based on research and feedbacking. Kasi nga, ang pandemya, ang gastos sa papel, so there are also adjustments. And perception, the way we think, the way we see things. Based on quantitative research, laging pag nasa chapter 4 na mean perception of blah 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 because it's a rating scale. Discovering what the people affected by the policy think about it. Itong perception, ginagamit din siya sa qualitative research. But the treatment, the themes, the thematic analysis, it's more in-depth. Kasi pag perception sa quantitative, it can be very high, strongly agree, very poor, needs improvement. Ganun lang yung qualitative interpretation niya because we base it on the range of numbers. So discovering what the people affected by the policy thinking about it. So halimbawa, 5, maraming 5. So very high yung perception nila, gustong-gusto nila. So that's the role that research played in the policy making process. It can be our developing a strategy, evaluating an existing policy, or adjusting our operations based on the baseline data. And then how do we perceive things? Can we change it? Or what's the level or status in order to describe what's in the field or what do you feel based on numbers? The importance of quantitative methods have several characteristics, including the following. Number 1, measurable data to produce comparable and useful results. We always compare. Kaya nga yung iba, t-test ang ginagamit. Ito yung score. Halimbawa, nakita mo talaga, ginamitan mo ng manipulatives available in their houses, tumaas. So there's a significant difference. So t-test yan. Because we need to compare. Assume alternative plans for achieving objectives. So that's why in ngayon, ang daming action research ngayon. No? So hindi nga ako magkandamayo sa office pa-process ng mga action research because through that, we can achieve our targets and enhance our instructional delivery. Plan data collection, ayan, yung mga nasa planning department, marketing ng mga organization. Wala dito si Tukayo, si Sir Donn Moreno, but they use quantitative data to have a particular strategy to increase their sales in business. Configuration or adjustments, and elaboration using statistical and economic stochastic methods. Check data reliability. So for example, you also use quantitative techniques. Kaya nga kapag merong survey material, gamit na gamit si Cronbach Alpha for reliability. Pero yung gusto naman talaga yung mga highfalutin na statistics, gagawa ka ng talagang standardized tools. Meron kayong tinatawag na construct validation, gagamit ka ng exploratory factor analysis. Kaya lang, pag nag-EFA ka, 50 yung questions mo, lalabas doon, 12 lang talaga yung matitira. So that's the disadvantage. Or sometimes, the classic, we use Pearson R to have the validity of our teacher-made instruments. Nag-a-item analysis tayo using difficulty index. So doon, may improve natin yung test questions natin. Bakit, sir? Ba't pa ako magpapakahirap ng item analysis? Sa una lang talaga mahirap yan kasi nagsisimula. Pero sa kalaunan, dahil na you prove that that particular item is effective, edi gamitin mo hanggat teacher ka ng subject na yun, pwede mong gamitin, ira-rumble mo lang, ibahin ng arrangement, ibahin yung option, ibahin yung given. So that's it. It's easier on the latter part of time. Giving valid and reliable materials to your students or clientele. Managers or heads support information system must make quick choices that are hopefully suitable because these numbers help us to have mental picture na sige, ito ang trend. Sige, let's invest on this. For example, businessman ka naman. In ngayon ang mga delivery. So you can have business on service delivery, ganun. Or milk tea kung mahilig ka sa milk tea. And then finally, the repercussions of making poor judgment grow more significant and costly, compounding the difficulties. Sometimes, matigas ang ulo natin. Ito na yung data, it shows us, but we deviate our decision from that. Example, classic, nakikita nyo na mataas ang COVID cases sa inyong lugar. But still, your mayor or those who are leading your particular place still opted to deviate from that particular number. So anong magiging reaction mo? Bakit? Delikado pa. For example, on us, bakit kami mag-face-to-face na or mag-on-site reporting, mataas pa ang cases dito? So there are policies governing that. Kaya yung iba, I don't know with your other divisions, but for example, in our case, we are reporting twice a week and then work from home. Pero personally, napakahirap mag-work from home. And then that's a very rich source of research also, either quantitative or qualitative. This indicates that anything that might assist an organization's management in dealing with the demands and challenges of decision making should be addressed appropriately. How? By using a reliable and valid basis, and that is these numbers, quantitative data. Unknowingly, in our organization, we are using quantitative methods to adjust, to develop intervention. Hindi, ang research naman kasi, it's a formal writing, kaya may pro forma. But unknowingly, you are conducting research already in our daily activities. By simply checking the papers, makita mo score ang baba, next time nga ituturo ko ulit. That's research also. It's your internal policy. Nakita mo mababa, am I going to reteach or intervene? So magkaiba yon. So pag intervene, uulitin mo lang or magbibigay ka ng additional activity. And then you move to another topic. Pero kung reteach, tuturo mo uli yung skill with the different activities, different strategy and approach. So that's quantitative research already. Because based on the scores, you adjusted, you innovate, and then you develop a certain scheme or policy or procedure. With that, let's innovate, let's decide, let's make policy on our own, in our level and in the greater level, because through that we can deliver change. And remember, all of these should be rooted in our baseline data. With that, maraming salamat po. Hopefully you learned something from me with this evening. Good evening, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your time and effort. I myself learned a lot from your talk. Hopefully, our attendees are now inspired to take on research with more confidence. Thank you, sir. By the way po, I would like to recognize my diligent campus executive director in PSU po, Dr. Lisa Hinson. Hello po, ma'am. Okay, so before we proceed to the Q&A section, let us hear from Dr. Francis Gumawa to administer the schedule of oath-taking of newly appointed research consultants. May we call the following: Dr. Sanchez, Dr. John Ray Peter, Dr. Raymond Mulano, Dr. Edmond Sunga, Dr. Jomar Lasak, Dr. Raymond Dizon, Dr. J.R. Banco, Dr. Joy Dimaano, Dr. Ami Lisbeth Rico, and Dr. Joyce B. Lanusa. Please, for the attendees involved, unmute your microphones and open your camera. So may we call on Dr. Francis Gumawa.
Okay po, ma'am. Ma'am Gloria, naririnig na po ako? Okay po. Okay, so again po, good evening to all. So we will now conduct our oath-taking po sa ating mga bagong research consultants. Okay, everybody raise your right hand po. And then follow after me po. I state your name.
I,
Ray Armland.
I, Romel Bravo.
I will just
Do solemnly and sincerely
solemnly and sincerely
promise, swear, and declare
Swear and declare
that I will truly and faithfully
I will truly and faithfully
and to the best of my skills,
and to the best of my skills,
knowledge, and abilities,
knowledge and abilities,
execute the powers
execute the
execute the powers
and trust reposed in me
and trust
trust
reposed
posed in me
as ETCOR Educational Research Centers
as
for educational research
research
center.
centers.
Okay, state your position po.
Research
Consultant.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Help me God.
Okay, congratulations po and thank you very much for a member po ng research consultants po ng ETCOR. God bless all and good evening po sa lahat.
Okay. Yes, to the newly conducted research consultants, please mute their microphones. And now we call to the acceptance of the speech the head teacher 6 of Commonwealth High School, Quezon City, Philippines, Dr. Dante S. Apilada. Ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. Nakikita po ba ako, ma'am?
Opo, sir. Opo.
Okay. To our esteemed officers and members of the ETCOR Educational Research Center, fellow research consultant, and affiliate distinguished guests, a pleasant evening to you all. Today, we convene to welcome our new members as made official by the ceremonial induction program of ETCOR. Our engagement in the worthwhile causes of this distinguished organization entail a serious responsibility and commitment to realizing the trust of the ETCOR group now and beyond. Our involvement also calls for the unsolicited dedication and service of the organization that we unfold growth and development in the field of research and other allied fields. As educators, we place premium on focusing the culture of sharing, which will enable other people to realize the significance of research in liberating and empowering our minds and spirits. We have our sincere and genuine confidence in the ETCOR group, and we commit ourselves as your strong partners in the conduct of worthwhile projects for the benefits of our members and clientele here and across the globe. The success of the ETCOR group demands our commitment, dedication, and initiative to translate our sound advocacies into action and into tangible outcomes. We, as new members of this esteemed organization, recognize the crucial roles and responsibilities that await us. We solemnly promise that we will always adhere the standards of ETCOR, that we wholeheartedly acknowledge and accept the challenge hereto appertain for the glory and victory of the vision of ETCOR. Once again, my warmest felicitation to you all. Thank you and mabuhay.
Okay, thank you po, Dr. Apilada. Okay, please to all the attendees, open your cameras now so we can take pictures for this event's documentation. Paki-open po ang ating mga cameras. Thank you po. Okay, sino po? Dr. Briñosa, okay na po pag, ano? Yes, Dr. January Peter. You're recognized po. raising your hand po. Okay, okay na po ba, Dr. Briones? Ayan, hindi pa po. Sige.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay na po. Thank you po, Dr. Briones po. Okay, all right. With that, the floor is now open to our attendees for the Q&A section. So attendees, you may now unmute your microphones and then speak now, or maybe you could raise your hands or type your questions there in the chat box po. May mga questions po ba or any additional inputs po sa ating webinar for tonight? Pwede nyo pong i-type siya sa chat box po natin. Thank you po. Or maybe you could raise your hand po. You may now raise your hand po. It's open na po. Siguro parang wala po, no? Because it certainly help us, sabi ng ating isang dito, no? Thank you, ETCOR, for this initiative. The following webinars will certainly help us to hone our skills in research, to be inclined, and to promote appreciation, sabi nila. Okay. So glad to be part of this organization. So basahin ko na lang po yung mga, siguro wala pong questions because it is well explained by Dr. Donn, di ba? So congratulations to the new research consultants. Welcome to the family. Okay, yan po yung mga sinasabi po nila dito. Okay, sa ating chat box. Okay, God bless you, Sir Dao, for empowering us to have a balanced treatment and maximizing not just qualitative data, but also quantitative data. Okay, thank you so much for the priceless opportunities, sabi po ng ating mga participants here in the webinar. Okay, siguro no more questions. Puro kasi it is well explained naman, sir, di po? Okay, meron pa po ba? May gusto pa po bang sabihin? Or wala na po? Parang wala na po, no? No more responses or na po dito sa ating chat box. Okay, walang question po. Ito, may nakita pa po akong just want to know the difference of, sir, may question po sa ating chat box po. I just want to know the difference of thesis and dissertation daw po. From Sir Nino.
Okay. Sige, let me share just my idea with regards to thesis and dissertation. So both of them can use qualitative or quantitative or mixed method. But it depends upon the rule of certain universities because we are following different formats and research agenda. But in terms of scope, mas malaki ang dissertation. Okay? And mostly, ang thesis ay there is an existing theory and then applied it on a certain phenomena and then you'll test its relationship or you will explore it if it's qualitative and then identify thematic analysis. So for dissertation, it requires a larger scope. So for example, on my experience at the UP Manila, may classmate ako kanina, good evening Ma'am Rose. For example, thesis can be within school, district, or division-wide. But mostly, dissertation requires a larger scope. And then, for quantitative, lalo na, mas malaki at mas maraming respondents. Kaya, kadalasan, ang dissertation namin, regional-wide o yung iba, nation-wide pa. Okay? Doon naman sa mga nagmi-mix method or yung nagko-qualitative, mas mahirap na design yung ina-apply or nire-require ng mga panelists sa dissertation. So for example, sa dissertation, kadalasan yung ibang panelists gusto mag-mix method. So magko-qualitative ka muna on your first phase and then on the second phase, magko-quantitative. So that is sequential explanatory now. Yung iba na, exploratory rather. Kasi from quali magiging quanti. Yung iba naman binabaliktad. May existing data ka na kasi quantitatively, and then you will have in-depth analysis it qualitatively. So yun yung sequential explanatory. Meron din yung iba, dahil you will formulate a certain theory or so maga-grounded theory sila. So yun, mas mahirap. Depende rin kasi sa field. Yung iba, yung mga nasa language, nag-ethnographic sila because they study different languages. So yun lang, dissertation, larger scope, and then madalas theory formulation sila. And then thesis, smaller scope, and then mostly they will test an existing theory. So yun. That's my best answer sa akin. Yun po. Yun po, ma'am.
Meron pa po. Someone is raising his hand, Dr. John Ray Peter po. You're recognized po, Dr. Peter.
Okay, so good evening. I'm sorry I could not open the camera due to poor connectivity, but I would just like to add the discussion of our speaker about the difference between the thesis and dissertation. The thesis is usually master's program, while the dissertation is usually the term used to define research in the doctorate degree program. So meaning when you are in the doctorate degree program and you are conducting a research intended for the completion of the degree, that means you are doing a dissertation. And if you're in the master's, doing a research intended for the conferment of the master's degree, then you are doing a thesis. And definitely that would differ on the scope. So yun nga, wider scope ang dissertation, and then a smaller scope naman ang thesis. Thank you.
Okay, thank you po.
Salamat, sir. Nakalimutan ko nga, yun nga, thesis for masters and doctorate for dissertation for doctorates. Salamat, sir. Kalimutan ko rin. Thank you.
Welcome po.
Ay, ayun po. Meron pa po nasa chat box natin from Sir Franz. Mr. Speaker, na super galing daw po. I really learned a lot tonight po. I do not have a question. A simple request lang po sana. Maybe you could share some notes and techniques on conducting both quali and quanti daw po, if pwede daw po. Okay, and then I really love to learn more. A law graduate here, but not so good in research making. Then po, sir.
And thank you. Maybe I shared the notes at this presentation, ma'am, to our head consultant po. So, ina-upload niya naman yun sa group natin. And then for the different materials, I believe other research experts, mas experts talaga sila, no? They shared, siguro mag-backread tayo, they shared materials and references. Yun po. So, but okay, pwede rin, I'll share something na that will help you, sir. Sige po.
Sige po. Meron pa po ba? Or wala na po. That's it. Thank you so much daw po. Ayun lang. Wala na po.
Salamat din po.
Okay. Thank you po. Thank you for your curiousness, interest, and questions po sa ating mga participants. I hope you learned a lot. Ako din po natuto sa ating speaker for tonight. And now, for your evaluation, we have sent a link in the chat box po, and please make time to answer within 24 hours po. Okay, thank you po. Nasa chat box po natin yung evaluation form po. Thank you po. Nakitignan na lang po sa ating chat box. Okay, so we are now nearing the end of the webinar. Let us now present the certificate of recognition to our speaker for his time and effort and endless diligence. Okay, so I will read to you the text, the certificate of recognition. Okay, so ETCOR Educational Research Center, Santa Ana, Pampanga, Philippines, presents this certificate of recognition to Dr. Donn Uriel D. Buenaventura, a research consultant at ETCOR Educational Research Center, for his invaluable time and expertise as a resource speaker in the series of National Capacity Building Seminars on Research Writing for Research Consultants of the ETCOR Educational Research Center held from October 20, 2021 to March 2, 2022. Signed, Dr. Ian Lenares, the National Deputy Consultant for Research, Publications, and Trainings. Signed, Dr. Ace Lagman, the National Consultant for Research, Publications, and Trainings. Signed, Dr. Richard D. Sanchez, the Head for the Research Consultant. Oh, sir.
Thank you very much po. Maraming salamat, and I enjoyed this evening with you. Thank you very much po.
Okay. What is the highest po sa ating evaluation form? 1 or 5 daw po? 5. 5 po. 5 po ang pinaka-highest na ano. Sure po yun, 5. Dami nating natutunan kay sir. Di ba po? Okay po. So, let me promote the following back tayo mag-end sa ating webinar. Okay, so our next event for the ETCOR is on November 3, 2021. Okay, the title of the webinar is Qualitative Research with the topic of conceptualizing a qualitative study, motivations, justifications, and centrality of the inquiry. And po. Okay, and then another one, I just want to promote the ETCOR's International Awards for Outstanding Educators and Researchers will be on December 27, 2021. And then if you want to avail the ETCOR's official t-shirt and polo shirts being sold by the Blueprint Shop po, okay, let me clarify din po dito, it's not ETCOR that is selling the t-shirt po, but Blueprint Shop po siya. Okay, so we are only just a beneficiary of a certain percentage of the sales. So this means po that the customers should contact the Blueprint Shop po. Okay po. Ilagay na lang po natin dito sa ating chat box later po. Kung gusto nyo po mag-avail ng ating t-shirt po. Thank you po. You can request. Okay. Yung una pong naka-share is yung evaluate. Ay, ikalawa po, yung senior po ni Dr.
Ma'am Glo, yung
evaluate.
sa screen mo, iba yung naka-share. Hindi yung PowerPoint mo. MS Word na may mga links ang naka-share po. Yan po.
Okay, sorry po.
Sayang yung PowerPoint, ng ganda pa naman. Alam ko, pinagpuyatan mo yan. Ipakita mo po.
Yung PowerPoint, tapos meron na po ba? Wala pa rin po.
I-share mo lang po. Kanina po nakalitaw naman, baka napalitan mo lang yung tab.
Kanina ni sir.
Ayan po, okay na po.
Ayan na po. Okay po. So to formally close, thank you po Dr. Richard. To formally close the webinar, may we have the virtual floor to our to Dr. Dennis E. Briñosa, the University Instructor of Mindoro State University, Bungabong Campus Orienatal, Mindoro, Philippines. And he is also part of the research consultant. Okay, sir.
Wow. What a great evening we have tonight. To the official of ETCOR Educational Research Center, to my friend and Kuya Dr. Richard Sanchez, our ETCOR head research consultant. They're all participants, organizers, and facilitators of this event. Our moderator, of course, our event chairman, Dr. Gloria Capanang, the event co-chairman, Dr. Francis Gumawa, to our resource speaker na super galing sa kanyang discussion, Dr. Donn, Uriel, Buenaventura. And I would like to acknowledge my friend, my kumpare, si Dr. June Ray Pichari, my classmate. Thank you for being here tonight. Good evening, everyone. First of all, allow me to express my deep appreciation to the ETCOR Educational Research Center for successful organizing highly substantive program as to enrich and enlighten us in the research on series of national capacity building seminar on research writing for research consultants arena. To all of the participants, I am really happy to meet all of you, and I would like to say congratulations also in attending this webinar session with my deep respect for your continued keeping the spirit and cooperation with the lecturer or the speaker tonight, and to the committee member during the program. Dear ladies and gentlemen, through this webinar session, I believe all of you have obtained the knowledge and experience from the speaker in the importance of quantitative research in policy making by Dr. Donn Uriel Buenaventura. Let me share something na nakuha ko po sa kanya kanina. Of course, the benefit of quantitative research using the roles of quantitative research model. Natandaan ko po yung it gives us how to predict, to forecast, relate, the impact, knowing how to develop and evaluate. And of course, kasama din na naintindihan ko kanina, role that research played in making policy making. Andun si strategies, evaluation, operational, and perception. Natandaan ko po yun lahat. And I hope that everyone also. So Dr. Donn really shared great information and knowledge for quantitative research. I am realistic enough that this webinar session with very short period is really effective to strengthen your knowledge and capacity building. But this effort only will not be sufficient enough to contribute on full knowledge in research writing. But one thing I assure to you, to everyone, that ETCOR will provide more webinar and seminars which are very, very beneficial for us. To this conjunction, I sincerely hope that through listening and the experience that you have gained could inspire you to create more initiative in developing real creative and innovative action through modification, the method, and disseminating the concept so that could fit into practical use at your location or local condition purposes. I also hope that all of you could continue to keep in touch with the representative and coordinators of ETCOR for further necessary cooperation in scaling up and spreading up this achievement so that could contribute to your coworkers and colleagues. I am looking forward to hearing you or from you such remarkable progress you make for the institutions you are belong after you return. Since I believe that this real impact could be as evidence to launch the success of this webinar session. Finally, wishing all of you every success, good health and future prosperity, and have a journey in embracing the culture of research. Before I close my address, my dear, as requested by the committee, on behalf of the ETCOR, I would like to declare that in this time, 8:09 in the evening, October 27, 2021, the webinar session of the series of National Capacity Building Seminar on Research Writing for Research Consultants officially closed. God bless you and thank you very much. We are now signing off.
Okay, thank you. Thank you po sa lahat. Ano? Thank you po, sir, mga ma'am. And that concludes our webinar for this evening. We are hoping that all of us learned something from our speaker, something we may be able to bring outside the boundaries of research and into other fields. Once again, thank you for your participation and we wish you a good evening.